My name is Blake Morgan, and I'm the author of the book More is More: How the Best Companies Work Harder and Go Farther to Create Knock Your Socks Off customer experiences. Because after all, that's what we need to do, is to make life easier and better for our customers. In fact, the customer experience will tell us everything that we need to know about what it's like to work at that company. Mr. Selfridge has a lot to teach us about customer experience and about being customer-centric. He took bold risks. A few people asked in the last session about innovation. He was an innovator. He was basically like Steve Jobs. He knew what customers wanted even before the customers knew they wanted it. That it's the contact center's time to shine because of social media. That this can be a huge branding tool and relationship building opportunity for you, and the contact center should not be overlooked as a wonderful investment and a huge opportunity for your business. As long as I'm awake, this thing is on my wrist. We have never had that ability to talk with customers as much as we have today, and so easily. We have never also had the amount of data that we have today about our customers. So IoT and the connected customer experience will help make our experiences better. They found that it was 63% cheaper than phone. They generated almost $2 million in ROI over 3 years. And that's just the beginning.
Everybody talks. Nobody listens. And that is why I love customer service, because it's actually in the listening that the value is presented to the customer. It's not in the talking.
They don't take the product and go home and disappear into a hole. No, they don't. They're becoming experts with the products. They're engaging on social media around the products, whether we know it or not. They're creating discoverable artifacts, recommendations, reviews, ratings, how-to content. They're actually answering other prospects' questions for you. And that advocacy piece is so important because it informs that discovery piece, because that is now how people are finding out about your products and services. I love bringing a speech to an audience because I love to see the way their eyes light up when they get a new idea or insight they can apply to their own company. And he got wrapped up with these two famous dancers, European dancers called the Dolly sisters. And these women had an affinity for wealthy men and gambling. And they basically gambled away $4 million of his money. And unfortunately, Harry didn't have the judgment to know not to charge us back to Selfridge's, to the store, to the business. So you can see, while Harry was a leader when it came to his store, when it came to being avant-garde with customer experience, in his personal life, it sort of ended up ruining him. And he died with only $6,000 to his name, and he was fired from the store. And the security guards would see him out on the street staring up at his beautiful store that was once his.
So a chatbot is essentially a piece of software that allows for a conversation between a machine and a human.
We know that in our own lives that customer service is marketing. That if we have a poor interaction with a brand after they've swiped our credit card, it's likely that we're not going to shop with them again. We're going to tell our friends, we're going to tell our family, we're going to post on Amazon, Yelp, don't do business with this company. But in contrast, when we have a great experience, we remember it. We want to tell everyone, oh, you have to shop with this brand. They're amazing. They do something different. Here's what they do. That's what you want your customers to say about you as well.
In the future, we're going to see more machines serving people. Why? Machines are becoming better at listening, understanding what is it that this human being wants from me.
I mentioned this earlier, but never in the history of business have we had the opportunity to scale listening and responding in the way that the chatbot promises to scale. According to Harvard, the #1 most important factor in customer loyalty is the reduction of customer effort. Life is hard, okay? I've got an 8-month-old, 9-month-old now. I wake up and I have dogs and babies that need me, and then I'm at work all day, and then I have to leave work, and I've got to deal with kids and stuff like that, and you're all in the same boat. And so are your customers. People don't have time in their lives for products and services to break. Our companies today need to embrace innovation and disruption.
because markets are moving faster than at any point in history, and companies that are able to quickly pivot will ultimately survive.
In 1909, if I were living at that time, I wouldn't really be allowed to wear makeup. It was frowned upon for women to wear colorful makeup. But Harry knew that women enjoyed makeup and it was fun, and it created a wonderful kind of environment to have a makeup counter in the store. So you can imagine those musicians playing, the flowers, the pleasant scents in the air, and he decided to also move the cosmetics department and the perfume department together at the opening of the store. And it looks quite beautiful if you ever go to a department store and you see all of the colorful lipsticks and eyeshadows. It's quite compelling and visually stunning. So he did that. And as a result, another societal change that he really impacted was women started wearing makeup.
I have over 10 years of experience studying contact centers and customer experience. So I bring a wealth of knowledge, not just about marketing, but also customer service.
So he put the first version of television on display at the store, the first version of radio on display at the store, and people came. They weren't there to buy a dress, they wanted to see what all the fuss was about.
So your digital strategy must be thoughtful. It must consider the actual life of the customer that you are serving.
And you know what I love about surprise and delight programs? It's not about the customer. The customer's happy, that's nice. But how does it make the employee feel when they get to do something that makes someone feel good? It makes them feel damn good.
And this is something I talk about in my book, More is More, that you have to work harder. You have to do more to be special because products and services are largely the same.
We want the employees that feel ownership over the work, that get excited to block and tackle for the customer.
Care about what your customers care about. Be interested in what they're interested in. Know them.
We could turn off the lights in my house from our phone just in case we wanted to freak out the nanny. We could turn the lights on and off a few times just to let her know that we're thinking of her.
Your kids are probably sending snaps all day, probably right now. Snapchat. While there aren't as many users as Facebook, those users sit on there all day sending snaps. And the rise of one-to-one messaging is only going to grow, only going to increase. And here's what they found, that social customer care reduced customer care costs, enabled organizations to build that goodwill that we just talked about, and that can be transformed into tangible sales and customer retention. Sounds good to me.
Every bank seems to have amnesia. Who are you? Who are you? I see you. If you're in my store, I see you. If you're calling me on the call center, I see you, I remember you. If you chat with me through chat support, I see you, I remember you. But we all have amnesia when it comes to our customers. We don't see them and we definitely don't remember them.
I just want to disappoint a customer today. No, but over time we become very preoccupied with quarterly profits, with money, and we lose sight of why we started.
I served as a practitioner working at Fortune 100 company Intel as a social customer service executive, and that provided unique insights you just can't get anywhere else.
And he wanted to do many things differently in London. He did things that nobody did, that nobody in Europe had ever heard of, and he was a real trailblazer. And he was actually a customer experience pioneer in many ways and set a lot of precedents that I'm going to share with you in a few minutes.
When you're in love, you have a little pep in your step, right? You've got a little smile. Everything is just a pleasure. Oh, going to the DMV, it's a pleasure, no problem. So can you imagine if every employee at your company felt like they were literally in love building for your customer?
In America, everything was new. So at Marshall Field's back in Chicago, you had all kinds of people, all classes shopping together under one roof. But in London, it was a very class-heavy society. So the rich did not shop with the poor. The middle class did not shop with the rich, and so on and so forth. But he wanted to change all that. He wanted everyone to come together in his department store. He was the first to create this experience where you would go to his store and enjoy. You could get your hair done. You could have dinner with your friends. You could see art galleries. This was unprecedented at the time. And that's really the premise of customer service and customer experience. It's about taking care of people who you are building relationships with. And he also was very cutting edge in his knowledge that a concierge approach to customer service and customer experience is really the right way to go. So what does that mean? Possibly when you checked in here at the Meritage, someone came up to you and said, "Hello, miss," or "Hello, sir, can I take your bags? Can I find you a restaurant or a wine tasting in Napa for tonight? Can I help you park your car?" And this is really the modern approach to customer experience today, where the customer has so many options that the brand makes it harder on themselves and easier on the customer. But today it's prevalent to do the opposite. We make things harder on the customer and easier on ourselves. Everyone is working on mobile. They're trading stocks on their phone. Because the best companies today are differentiating by educating their prospects, going above and beyond, right? Because more is more. It's like my book, more is more. And that's it. Thank you.